So continuing professional development. Well, it's one of the fundamental pillars of professionalism, not only for the geosciences, but in pretty much every vocation. And the reason why it's becoming more and more important is that people realize that knowledge has a half-life. Now, whether this is 8 years, 8 months, or whatever, we soon start to realize that we need to keep up with what is happening in our field of practice throughout our working life. Otherwise, we're going to fall down. A very good example of this is, I know some of you on this course would have learned how to use a slide rule. We don't use them today. And if we didn't learn how to use a GPS, we'd very much be stuck in the dark ages. And that is why it's important to continue your professional development throughout your careers. And that's pretty much what CPD is. It's a term that we use to describe learning activities such as courses, workshops, informal learning opportunities, anything that we do that can help us to expand our knowledge and add new skills. It really refers to the process of tracking and documenting what we do. It's effectively a logbook of what we experience, learn, and apply. Now, this logbook can be either in a physical piece of paper where you keep note of what you're doing, or digitally recorded on a website. Some of the other key features of CPD is that it is self-directed. You are the person who decides what it is that you do. It's not driven by your employer or your registering authority or the GSSA or anybody else. You decide what is important for you to learn that's going to develop your career path. And we're looking at both formal and informal learning. And really the whole idea is to look at what we're doing, where we see gaps in our skills and capabilities, go on a course, do something, evaluate it, record it, and then wash, rinse, repeat. The goal is personal development. It's not just about collecting points. Own the whole process and make it work for you. CPD is becoming more and more important all over the world, and we see it as an important statement in all of the international ethics and geoethics codes. For example, the International Association of Geoethics, the IAGEF, and the IAPG, International Association of Professional Geoethics. These all have statements reflecting the importance of CPD. Now, CPD is not a requirement to be a member of the GSSA. But if we look at the GSSA Code of Conduct, it makes demonstrating CPD a moral and a professional obligation. As I said, it's not a requirement of membership, but we do highly recommend it for your own professional advancement. And it makes no difference where you work. If you're working as a geologist in industry, or whether you're working in academia, research, and even governmental or statutory institutions. It's all about developing you as a geoscientist. However, if you are registered with SACNASP as a practicing geoscientist, you are required to do CPD in order to retain your SACNASP registration. And to that effect, you would all have received this notification last month, around about the 23rd of February or so. And SACNAV sent out a notification reminding people that you need not only to register, but also to renew professional registration. And this means that you need to complete CPD activities over a 5-year cycle. Along with that notification, highlighted the fact that the first cycle is due for completion next year. So you need to, if you're going to want to register or re-register next year, you're going to need to be compliant with the SACNASP CPD policy. Also, note here, this is new, that from this year, candidate natural scientists are going to need to have done CPD in order to upgrade to the professional category. Previously, candidates were exempt from CPD, but from this year, they will also be included in CPD. We're not too sure of the details as to how much or what they will need to do, but be aware that this is something that is happening from this year. So the SACNASP CPD system it's a very generalized system, and it's used for all 26 different fields of practice. It's also highly skewed to individuals who are employed by large corporations, state institutions, and laboratories. And so the SACNASP system is not always easily applicable to geoscientists. Now, the GSSA is the voluntary association that represents the most of the geoscientists in both earth and geological sciences. So what we've done is we wrote an MOU with SACNASP so that we can make compliance with CPD easier for our members who are registered with, or both members of the GSSA and also registered with SACNASP. So what we did is we took this MOU and said, any person who is registered with SACNASP and also a GSSA member, you can decide where you want to record your CPD. You can do it through the GSSA site, or you can do it through the SACNASP website. It doesn't matter where you log your points. If you're compliant with one system, you will be deemed to be compliant with the other system. Now I'm going to highlight the word deemed to be compliant with the other system, because yes, there are some elements which you'll find in both systems, but they are very, very different in the way that they allocate credits. There's a different basis for the accumulation of credits. SACNASP typically looks at what activities you do, whereas the GSSA looks at how much time you spend doing those activities. There are also different numbers of credits for different activities. For example, a one-day workshop, SACNASP says will give you 1 CPD credit, whereas the GSSA looks at the number of hours and says it's an 8-hour workshop, so therefore you get 8 CPD credits for that same workshop. We also get different combinations and classifications of activities. For example, SACNASP has 3 categories, whereas the GSSA has 4 categories. With respect to SACNASP, formal courses are obligatory. You have to do formal courses, whereas under the GSSA system, formal courses are not obligatory. So they're very different systems. So it needs to be one or the other. Also, you'll notice that when you log your credits, say on the GSSA system, and you go into SACNAS, you don't magically see your points appear there as if you had completed the SACNAS CPD system. We can't just simply transpose from one system to the other, mostly because there are different classifications, different number of credits, also issues of personal protection of information and cybersecurity issues and so on and so forth. So we have got around this, and we will chat about how we need to work on it. But just note that whichever system you do it in is fine, but you're not going to immediately see it in the other system. There is another step that has to take place. So again, the choice as to where you log your CPD credits is yours. It doesn't matter. It's not that one is more right or more wrong than the other, or better or worse or easier. They are both equally acceptable to both the GSSA and SACNAS. You need to decide for yourself what works for you, and then go ahead and log your points there. However, each system is a standalone system. You either use the GSSA system or you use the SACNAS system for a full 5-year cycle. You can't do 1 year in the SACNAS system and then decide, okay, you want to do GSSA and then pop over to GSSA for the next 3 or 4 years, or vice versa. You need to continue, or you need to complete it each 5-year cycle in one specific system. So if you've done the last 4 years on the SACNAS system and you decide actually you'd like to do it through the GSSA system, well then finish the cycle on SACNAS and then move on to GSSA. Otherwise you have to go back 5 years and relog everything on the GSSA system. Again, whichever one you decide is fine. Now, the next little while, I'm going to go through each of the different systems, starting with SACNAS and then looking at the GSSA. So you can decide which system you prefer, and then you can go ahead with it. Do we have any questions so far?
Tanya, there's one in the chat.
Okay, thank you. Let me find where I put this.
How do I?
Let me read it to you. It's from Xavier. For this workshop, is it recorded automatically, or do we have to log on to the GSSA website and add the activity manually?
Short answer, you have to add it manually. But if you'll bear with me when we get through to the GSSA system, I'll explain how it works. Frida, yes, we'll cover most of that as we go through the program. Okay, so firstly, the SACNAS system. Gail, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I did. We're going to do exactly what we need to do, isn't it? Because I mean, I've been on loads of things, but I haven't logged anything in the past, I don't know, however many years. So we can go back and log all of our stuff that we've done previously. That's what we're going to be going through. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
super. No, I just wanted to make sure I'd got the right end of the stick.
Yes. Okay, so with respect to the SACNAS system, these are the two folks that you can contact. Sarah is in charge of CPD administration. Johan is the guy that you will mostly deal with in terms of technical queries. So if you run into a situation where the website doesn't work the way you think it should work, or you can't find where things are, Johan is the guy who can help you with that. So the Tssa system is a 5-year CPD cycle. It runs from the 1st of April 2017 to the 31st of March 2022, or from the date of membership. For all of us who were registered before 2017, our cycle comes to an end on the 31st of March. If you only registered 2 years ago, then your 5-year cycle starts from the date that you registered 2 years ago, and it works on 5 years. So each person is really on a separate cycle, and I hope their computer system actually knows how to track who's on what cycle. Then after the 5 years, all of the CPD credits that you have accumulated reverts to 0. And that is when you renew for the next 5-year cycle. And so you'd start from scratch on that 5-year cycle again. You need 25 Tssa credits in a 5-year cycle, which is 5 credits per year. Tssa has 3 categories in which you can claim credits. You need to obtain CPD credits in at least 2 of the 3 categories. So you can't only do category 1 or category 3 or whatever. You've got to have at least 2 different categories. And the big one, there's got to be at least 1 credit per year from category 1 activities. And category 1 activities, these are the formal technical courses, workshops, conferences, and so on and so forth. It is a compulsory activity, and you need to have at least 1 credit per year with respect to these formal courses. They do now accept in-house activities as well as online courses. All category 1 activities have to be validated by Tssa, and they need to be accompanied by a certificate of attendance. So, looking at event accreditation, any GSSA, SAIMM, or SAMCODES course, these are automatically accredited for CPD points with Tssa. If you go on a course that is run by a university or a government department, that is also automatically accredited. If you do a course through a private company or a professional conference organizer, then the company or the PCO needs to have that event accredited through Tssa. And what we've got here is just how you would do that. All accreditation needs to be done before the event, and the organizer needs to get a certificate of validation. This is typically not a problem for South African conference organizers because it's easy for them to register through Tssa. Sometimes we find problems with international conferences, but there is, of course, a way around that. And what you would do is you would contact either Johan at Tssa or myself, and we will help you get it accredited. And then once the course is accredited, which is step 1, it then needs to be uploaded to the Tssa site. And it's typically only available on the Tssa site after the event has been completed. I just want to note here that PCOs need to have a Tssa validation number. So if you're looking at going through or going to a course organized by a PCO, please make sure that they have a SACNAS validation number. We have had situations where certain courses have advertised that they are accredited with SACNAS, but they're not. So please ask them for the validation number before you sign up for it. If it is a GSSA course, it will be available on the SACNAS website after the event, because I need to provide SACNAS with a list of attendees. You would then need to also upload your certificate of attendance so that they can make certain that you've actually attended the course and not just registered for it. If you go in there and you want to log your course and you see that the course that you've been on is not on the SACNAS website, if it's a GSSA course, just contact the GSSA at info@gssa.org.za. It typically means that Sally has sent me the information and it's sitting on my desktop and I haven't got around to uploading it. So if it's not there, just send us a reminder and it will happen ASAP. If it's not a GSSA course, contact the course organizer, or you can contact Johan at SACNAS. And how would you also, what we've done on the SACNAS CPD website, in order to facilitate attendance at category 1 courses, if you go into the website and click on CPD and then on online CPD, that will come up. You can then enter in your registration number and your ID number and log in. That will bring you to this page. And you can click on here to access more training events. And you will see all of the recorded GSSA online courses, which will be available for you to register for and listen to. And you don't have to be a member of the GSSA to be able to access these online courses. Okay, so that's category 1 of SACNAS. Do we have any questions on category 1? Okay, Krista, the question there, I'd like to know, do GSSA, Groundwater Division and SACNAS consider international courses, such as ones offered by UNESCO, etc.? The short answer is yes, they do. Under the SACNAS system, these courses still have to be accredited through SACNAS. In a moment, when we come to the GSSA system, we'll see a different way of doing it. So yes, all of these international courses can be accredited, but they must be accredited through SACNAS. There's not a list of every single available course in the whole wide world that you can just select and say, okay, you attended that one. It needs to be accredited through SACNAS before it gets onto the drop-down list. Okay, category 2, according to the SACNAS system, 2 separate issues. Firstly, the natural scientific work. SACNAS recognizes that much learning takes place on the job. So under category 2A, you can claim CPD credits for simply going to work. Now, this is great if you're employed full-time. And this is a big advantage for many geoscientists because many of our members are not employed full-time. And especially since last year when we had the various levels of lockdown, which caused an issue. But if you are able to work, sorry, Johan, I just see there was a query there. If I'm unable to access those courses to read, you should be able to access those courses. Remember, this is category 1 courses, so they would be paid events. So you would need to register for them. But yes, if you have any hassles getting into the website to access them, speak to Johan. Okay, so coming back to category 2. The issue here is that it's also science-related work. And this wouldn't include management time. And so that also is a challenge for some middle to senior management positions. So while this is very useful for certain organizations, it can be an issue for geoscientists. The second classification within category 2 looks at mentoring, where 1 credit is 50 hours worth of mentoring to a maximum of 1 credit per year. And it looks at formal mentoring programs as well as in-house skills training sessions. Yes, Quibus?
Yes, if you working as a consultant or self-employed, can you also claim points on that category 2A for
billable hours? Yes, billable hours you can claim.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so moving on then to category 3. Category 3A, if you are a member of a recognized voluntary association, you can claim 1 credit per year. In other words, as a GSSA member in good standing, you can claim an additional credit, or you can claim 1 credit per year under category 3A. Category 3B, these are the things that we do as individual activities. Here you've got 10 hours for 1 credit to a maximum of 3 credits a year. And this is important to note that all activities under this item must be verified. In other words, if you write a paper, do a publication, you need to present evidence that you've actually done that. And these are some of the things that you can include. Presenting a paper at a conference will give you 1 credit. If you publish in a peer-reviewed journal, 2 credits. If you publish a technical article, 1 credit. If you complete a postgrad degree, you can get 5 credits. And if you evaluate a PhD or an MSc as an external examiner, you get 2 credits. Can you claim for multiple categories once off, or must it be done separately? Krista, just explain what it is that you're asking there, please.
Okay, hello. Yeah, I would like to know, say I've been working at the Department of Water and Sanitation, and I've been studying at the same time, and I've been assisting as a mentor. Can I claim for the various categories, and knowing that I might have been attending workshops and conferences?
Yes. Yes, you can.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Here are some more things that we can do under the 3B category. Lecturing and supervision of postgrad students. If you participate in any of these kinds of committees or task groups, if you help to evaluate educational programs or educational qualifications through SACNAS, if you're on any of these various committees, and also self-study. So if you're reading journals or looking at online videos, YouTube videos, these can all be counted. However, activities must be verified. So you can't just say, I read a journal. You've actually got to identify the article, the paper, the journal, or the video that you watched. And so you all quite happy with how you log on to this. Go back to this page. You can select course categories here. And that drops down a whole list of different course categories. Now, there are many of these because they deal with all 26 of the field of practice. So you'll find geology, mineral economics, environmental, hydrogeology, but also courses applicable to other fields of practice. There were 26 of them. So don't get worried if you find a category there that you know absolutely nothing about. But here's where you can get category 3 courses that you can attend, and they're all free of charge. You can also click on here to access more training events. And in addition to the category 1 GSSA courses, there's a whole variety of category 3 courses. These are all the GSSA lunchtime lectures, the WITS Geosciences lectures, and the SAIMM category 3 as well. Yes, Gail, the SEG or deposits thing, those do count as well. Any technical course that you attend, that they can also be counted. But again, you've got to identify the video that you watched, where you accessed it. All of that information must be included when you submit to SACNAS. Yes, SACNAS does have various exemptions and partial exemptions. If you are retired and not working, you are exempt from CPD. I still haven't been able to figure out why retired people who are not working would want to be registered with SACNAS. But nonetheless, the regulations say that they are exempt. If you are retired and still working, you are exempt from category 1 activities. SACNAS has a specific definition of what retired means, so make sure that you just have a look at that. And they have got this policy, which is the latest one is version 7. You can refer to that for all sorts of other special exemptions and special dispensations. And again, just to note that candidates from this year are required to do some CPD. Okay, so how to log your CPD points on the SACNASP system. You log in as per usual. Then you select CPD portfolio. And you'll see it's this cycle here, April 2017 to March 2022, and you click on Edit Activities. Okay, and when you go in there, you'll then be able to add to whichever year you wanted the event to go to. So Gail, this is a question that comes up that you were asking earlier as to how you can go and log previous year's activities. You do it under here. Because when you click on that, it'll allow you to select the year that you want to edit and add information on. So what happens if you don't log CPD for SACNASP? Well, before you renew your registration for the next 5-year cycle, SACNASP is going to require that you catch up and log your credits within a specific time. And if that isn't done, then technically the Act allows for SACNASP to deregister you as a PR SIMAT. However, SACNASP's objective is to encourage personal development. They spend a lot of time and effort getting people registered. They're not going to just somewhat deregister people for not having done CPD. So they are going to bend over backwards to help you get your CPD up to date and keep it up to date on an ongoing basis. Okay, now is a natural break for coffee. And if you've got any questions as well. Because if you have any questions on the SACNASP system, now is the ideal time to ask them.
Tanya, I have a comment.
Yo, Nolene.
My muffins haven't been delivered.
Oh, you're going to have to speak to Lily about that.
I will indeed.
Hi, Tanya, Dr. Marshall.
Yo, hi.
I just would like to know, knowing that we're going to be actually uploading information on the system, is it still compulsory for us to like compile a manual report and upload that as well, or do we just submit information on the software itself, like a Word document or?
For SACNASP?
Yes.
Yes, you go into the website, you log in, and everything is digital. You can select the course that you've been on, make sure that the dates are correct, and it adds it itself. When you need to add any of the other information, a Word document is fine.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
How long is the break? The break is 15 minutes. So if we can be back just after 11 o'clock, then we can carry on from there. Hopefully your muffins would have risen in the oven by then. Quibus, you have another question?
Yes, please. If I understand correctly, category 1, you need to have at least 1 CPD point
Per year.
per year. So
At the end of 5 years, you need to have 5. So if you've been on a course that's say two days and you've got 2 credits, that's fine. The next year, maybe you're not going to get 1 at all. So it's 5 over 5 years.
Okay, so if you've missed out on, say, 2017, you need to catch up somewhere. And if you don't, you're in trouble.
Pretty much, yes.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yes, Johan?
Hi, Tanya. In terms of, okay, the cycle, you said the 5 years starts in, or it started in April 2017. But if
Yes.
you've done courses which are certified before that period, can't you count some of them as well if you need points?
SACNASP allows you to go back to 2016. So everything
Okay.
that you've done after 2016, you can count for this cycle.
Okay.
Hi, I'm just actually trying to register to sign into this QPD thing, and I've put my number and /, so 4069/03, and it's saying council registration doesn't correspond to SACNASP.
It doesn't like the slash.
It doesn't like the /.
Yes,
So do I
the-
just put a number without the /.
That's right.
Oh, okay, okay. Maybe that's why I could never do anything. Oh no, council registration, it still doesn't correspond. Ah,
It should, so you have the 4,000 blah, blah, blah.
4069/03. I've just typed that in, and with my password. Oh. So does this mean I must contact old Johan?
Yes, yeah, because it should. I know mine does when you click it in, and it does work. But
Yeah,
got a
I mean, I
problem
have
with
been
that.
trying sort of on and off for the last couple of years to get in, but then I think I just hit these brick walls and then I just stop. Okay, let me contact Johan, because otherwise I just will stop trying to making an effort again. Okay, thanks.
The other thing that you can do, Gail, is because of this MOU that we have with SACNASP, if you log your points on the Gssa system, on the Gssa site, then you don't have to do it on the SACNASP site. You just take your certificate that we give you at the GSSA and you upload that to SACNASP, and they say, okay, you're compliant, tick.
Okay, so maybe I should try that and see. Yeah, because otherwise I'm just kind of getting nowhere. And so on the GSSA, because obviously I'm from Zimbabwe, and so my registration is not GSSA, it's Zimbabwe, but we have a whatever, an understanding. I don't necessarily have to be a member of GSSA. I can just have the understanding to get those points.
That's one of the advantages of the GSSA site that we will talk about a little bit later, is we have a whole bunch of agreements with all manner of organizations, so that if you are compliant with this system, then it automatically makes you compliant with SACNASP as well.
Okay, yeah, so it might be a little bit easier for me. Okay, super, let me try that and I'll
But
listen.
if you're not a member of the GSSA, you're not going to be able to log into the GSSA site.
Oh gosh, well, that's not going to help me, because I'm not a member. I'm a member of Zimbabwe Geological Society.
So then you probably have to contact Johan and get him.
Okay.
I'm going to make
Okay.
a note of that as well.
I'll just take a screenshot and send it to. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Johan, is your hand still up, or you got a new question?
No, my hand's not up. Should I cancel it there?
Yes, please.
Oh, sorry. Is it down now?
And
So, Tanya, another interesting one, and I mean, I'm sure it's nothing, but what I did last year is I tried to go to this international geology conference in India that was obviously cancelled for COVID, but by the time it was cancelled, I was actually there, and myself and another girl actually from South Africa, we did one of the field trips by ourselves, if you like. So if you sort of do those things, is that also like extenuating circumstances because of COVID or something or another like that?
That would classify as category 3B individual activity. It would not classify as category 1.
Okay, no, that's fine.
A formal one, but yeah, under category 3B, that would be fine.
Yeah, I know. They've still got our money, so we're still actually waiting to go on this conference, but God only knows when. Okay, thanks.
Just to go back to Xavier's question, all you do there, Xavier, is just add the URL or the reference. You don't need to add a summary to explain that you've actually read it or about the video. Just the reference is sufficient.
Hi, me again. I'm just sort of browsing through my things that I generally done. So I did a Society of Economic Geologists online conference that had 4 sessions last year on the copper belt, and then the links are emailed to me. I mean, I'm just wondering how I prove that I was on this. Do I send screenshots of the links, or I'm not sure how to do it, or do I approach a Society of Economic Geologists to verify? Well, the emails from them anyway.
It was one of these massive online courses, no doubt.
Yeah, it was the Mwali 2020 Society of Economics Geologists conference. So it had four days, if you like, and there was like 20. Well, I don't know, maybe between 10 and 15 papers, and you went through them, and then you had an online discussion about those papers with a panel.
At the end of that, you didn't get a certificate of completion or anything like that?
Well, I'm just looking at it. They said, Mwali, hang on, Society, Mwali. I saw something that said, thanks for coming. Thank you for attending Gail. Thank you for attending, Gail. The Mwali Symposium is an archive of diverse data sets, blah, blah, 25 deposits, 12 basins worldwide. I mean, it was quite a interesting, comprehensive thing.
That will take the place of your certificate of attendance.
Okay, no, that's fine, because it says thank you for attending. So, and it's addressed to me on my email. So so I better not delete that email then. Okay, cool.
Frida, are you there?
Yes, I take the tiramisu on the top tray, and I think that creme brulee at the bottom one, and I have just a normal cup of coffee. That's all.
Okay, that's fine. Did you get the answers that you wanted with respect to doing your CPD through SAT?
Well, I remember having read some more longish explanation or menu, if you want, how we post, well, what are we, baby boomers, 50s, 60s, how we get around failing to get the necessary points. Now, understand category 1, we are almost completely excluded or exempted. So take, for instance, that SACNAS course, not SACNAS, but what was it? The SAMREC course. I attended over, I think, 4 Mondays. would that fall under category 1? And if so, I've attended it. So whether I need it or not is not the issue. I'm more concerned about category 2, work-based. Yes, I certainly get to, well, certainly in 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, maybe not COVID, but course not 21 and probably not even 20. I got to, no, I should have got to 800 hours, but maybe not. So not sure how to deal with this. Category 3, likewise.
Yeah, remember, Frida, you don't have to get credits in every single category. You've got to get.
Because if I logged some of my courses and it stipulates the required total, and I got nowhere near, apart from that I didn't log anything 16, 17, 18, 19, being lazy, or maybe I can't even remember, but I would find things. I remember I was active to writing reports and doing very many site visits and the likes, but I gathered that you cannot carry forward, or maybe I remember that wrongly, but there was certainly a much larger number of points required than I even attained in last year, when I attained, I don't know, about 10 online lectures, lunchtime and full day lectures. So not quite clear about how this 1, 2, 3 interlinks, and if how many you need for each. I think it stipulates it on the website, on here.
What you need for category 1 is approximately 1 category 1 credit per year.
Okay.
Category 1 credits you can carry forward. So if you went on a course that had 5 credits for the first year, you don't need to do anything in category 1 for the rest of the 5 years.
Wow. Maybe I got confused with the different points that GSSA offers, I think 10 times, or 1 GSSA is 0.1 with SACNAS. Maybe I got confused there, but if I remember when I registered that or PGE course or whatever, that SAMRAC, it automatically gives you, once you enter it, I think 5 points. And I think the requirement was something like 20 or 30 or 40 even. But anyway, you said I'm
different systems.
One
is the GSSA system, and one is SACNASP. SACNASP requires 25 points in total, 5 of which must come from category 1 occurrences. And then you can take, say, category 2, 2A, maybe you're not able to get the points for permanent work, but yes, you are able to get the point for doing some mentoring. And then category 3, you're able to get the GSSA membership point, and you can get at least 1 credit through reading and research. So that's how you build up with SACNASP. SACNASP, the numbers of points required and the numbers of points required for each category are completely different to the GSSA.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I say you either do it on the SACNASP system or you do it on the GSSA system, because the points are so different, the combinations are so different.
I think I've done it through GSSA. Being
okay.
But anyway, even if I had attended, let's assume in 2020, let's say last year, enough for 5 years, can that be applied retrospectively? My understanding was no. Okay. Yes.
Yes, it can. Within the 5 year. Now, again, if you're doing it through the GSSA, that doesn't matter, because we really don't care about the 5 years.
Okay.
but SACNASP requires 5 years. So we said, okay, we'll allow the same 5-year period for the MOU. And if you haven't logged it and you want to log it retrospectively back to 2017, that's fine. There's no problem with that at all.
Well, I can't remember what I exactly did. I know I did a lot of real geological work and writing, but not in terms of conferences, or there weren't many lunchtime lectures prior to COVID, but I would certainly have worked 800 hours per year in those 17, 18, 19 years.
Remember, that has got nothing to do with the GSSA system.
The working hours.
The working hours. That's purely SACNASP.
Okay, all right. So I lose out on those, or I re-register.
No, what you do, Frida, is you spend the next hour listening to how we do it under the GSSA system.
All right, good.
Okay, so what we've discussed up until now has been purely SACNASP. If you're logging your points on SACNASP only.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I did it through GSSA, but I will have to check.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So is everybody reasonably happy with how to do it through the SACNASP system? Going once, going twice, sold. Okay, so let us then move on to the GSSA system. And just a reminder that as a SACNASP registered member of the GSSA, you have a choice. You can do it either on the SACNASP system, or you can do it on the GSSA system. And whichever one you decide, the other organization will simply accept the fact that you have done CPD. And just remember that, yes, there are some things that are similar, but they're very different systems in the number of credits, the way they allocate credits. So you can't simply transpose information from one system to another. It doesn't reflect in the website. If you've logged it on SACNASP, you're not going to see it on the GSSA system. And if you log it on the GSSA system, it's not going to magically appear in the SACNASP system. And again, the choice is yours. You decide which one is best for you in your 5-year cycle. So what are the benefits of the GSSA system? Well, remember we said that SACNASP has to cater to the entire range of geoscientists, all 26 different fields of practice. So the GSSA system is now specific to geoscientists. It's specific to what we do in the geoscience industries. We also take notice of issues around unemployed people, retrenched people, consulting, retired, field-based members. Whereas the SACNASP system tends to cater more towards those who are in permanent employment. It's also useful because it doesn't only rely on GSSA content. You can gain credits by going to courses or whatever, wherever you work or live. We have this MOU in place with SACNASP, and we're also at the moment developing MOUs with other geoscience organizations. As part of the Global Geoscience Professionalism Group, we are able to benchmark our CPD systems against other organizations and develop a system so that if, for example, you are registered with Geosciences Canada and you do your CPD system through them, that would imply that the GSSA, who has an MOU with them, would accept the fact that you've done CPD with them, and then you would be compliant with us. And that in turn would mean that you'll be compliant with SACNASP. Even though SACNASP doesn't have a direct MOU with anybody else, the fact that it was done through the GSSA would mean that you can do your CPD anywhere in one of these organizations that is within this mutual recognition system and be accepted wherever you are. Another one is the SAIMM. Many geologists are also registered with the SAIMM, and hopefully this year sometime they will get their CPD system up and running. And so you wouldn't be required to do CPD under them as well as under the GSSA. Doing CPD one system would give you credit elsewhere as well. And we're also looking at doing the same thing with other organizations such as universities locally and internationally as well. What we're trying to do is make it simple and easy for people to obtain their CPD in one place rather than have to do it under the GSSA, under SACNASP, under SAIMM. That just gets far too complicated. As we've mentioned before, the CPD is not a requirement for GSSA members, but it is professional best practice and almost a moral or ethical obligation. We base our system on the time spent doing professional development activities. So it's not an activity itself has so many credits, but the time that you spend doing it is what's important. And it's principles based. We don't have a list of 1001 regulations as to what you can and can't include. And to note here that the GSSA system has been operational since 2014. So you can go back and log as far back as 2014 if you want to. But because of the MOU with SACNASP, we run a concurrent cycle with them so that anything that you log within the GSSA system can be applicable for your SACNASP registration. So this is the summary of the GSSA system. Comprises 4 categories: formal learning, knowledge contribution, self-directed study and informal learning, and professional practice. Now, we encourage our members to collect points across the entire spectrum, as is possible, but no category is obligatory. So if you cannot get any formal learning courses done, that's fine. We don't have a problem with that. Here we have an objective of 60 credits a year for a total of 300 credits over the 5-year cycle. Now, this is so different from SACNASP. Remember, they said 25 credits over 5 years. So effectively, 25 SACNASP credits is the equivalent of 300 GSSA CPD credits. But as we'll see going forward, different things count for different amounts of credits. And the first one that we'll have a look at is the formal learning. This is effectively equivalent to the SACNASP Category 1. Whereas in SACNASP system, Category 1 is required, you have to, whereas in the GSSA, it is not obligatory. And this effectively is the formal structured courses, seminars, conferences, whatever. And we recommend that within each 5-year cycle, you do one SANCODES course or workshop. Under the GSSA system, a full-day course has 8 CPD points, whereas under SATNAT, you would only get 1 credit for a full day. So you can see these are quite different in the way that they attribute credits to. In addition, if you, this is a tested activity, if you write a test for it, then you get 1.5 times the number of hours spent on that course. So if you had a 1-day workshop, it would be 8 CPD credits. If that 1-day workshop was a tested activity, you would get 12 CPD credits for that particular course. But note, you only get that if you pass the test, not if you take the test and fail. That really doesn't count. But they are not only GSSA courses. Any relevant, applicable formal learning activity can be counted. So if it's an international event, if it's an in-house training course or conference, e-learning, online courses, webinars, live streaming events, correspondence courses, these also count as long as they are formal learning activities. The important thing about these formal activities is that they must be function related. And what I mean by that, if it's a technical course, it's things like GeoCongress, precious metals workshop, drilling courses, diamond conference, and so on. It's related to the work that you as a geologist does. But if, like me, you're into diamonds and you go on a diamond course, that's fine. But if I decide, okay, I'd actually like to learn something about platinum, for example, simply because it's a technical function-related course related to the work as a geologist, it's fine. It doesn't have to be only diamond related. It can be anything within the technical geoscience field. So in addition to the technical courses, we also have the non-technical courses. These are still function related to your work as a geologist, but they could be classified as non-technical courses, such as financial evaluation courses, courses on the MPRDA, CPD, geoethics, and job-related language or software courses. So if your company is sending you to Russia and you go on a Russian language course, that is a non-technical course which is function-related. And so that would also classify as a formal learning event. If, however, you wanted to go to Paris with your significant other and you decided to take a French language course, that cannot be counted here. And the same thing with software courses. If you're looking at Micromine, any of those job-related courses, you can count it. If you just went on a generic Microsoft course, that doesn't count under a formal function-related course. Okay, so Xavier, you're talking about courses related to STEM education or earth science related pedagogy. Those would typically come in under a separate section. We'll talk about those a little bit later, but they are unless they are very specifically related to the work that you are doing. These non-technical courses can be subjected to abuse. And so if you are selected for audit, or these things can be audited and can be queried, and so you would need to explain why it is that that particular course was related to what you were doing. The GSSA doesn't require courses to be accredited. Remember, under the Cssa system, every formal course had to be accredited through Cssa. We don't do that at the GSSA. Any applicable course that you can motivate should be part of this formal learning program. You can add that and claim it as your CPD. You don't need to contact us and say, I've got this course, can I take it? Where is it accredited? You simply log into the system and you claim that particular course. And we don't charge to add courses, whereas Cssa does charge to validate courses. We don't do that. You simply claim the course that you believe fits the criteria for the particular category. Although we don't validate courses, we do audit a sample of courses annually. And if you're selected for audit, then you might be asked to prove relevance of a particular course. And this is specifically for non-technical courses. The GSSA also does not generally endorse third-party courses. There are a few, such as Colin Rice's drilling course, but it's not widespread. So if you see a non-GSSA course that says this is endorsed by the GSSA, please query it with the GSSA, as there is a likelihood that they have said this without it actually being true. So when you go into the GSSA CPD website and you see your courses not listed, first thing to do is you contact your course coordinator to add it to the list. Or you can simply manually add the course yourself. We prefer it if the course coordinator adds it to the course, because otherwise you're going to land up with a situation where everybody will add it as something different. A drilling course. Somebody might add it as drilling for geologists. Somebody else might want to add that as Colin Rice drilling course. Or a third person would say drilling 2021. Then you've got half a dozen different courses, all for the same thing under different names. So first prize is to contact your course coordinator to add it to the list. And if that doesn't work, then log in and add it yourself. And if you have any problems with any courses not being on the website, not being able to add them, please just send Sally a message and she will pass it on to me and we'll sort it out for you. Please make sure you get and keep your certificates of attendance. And it's not a certificate of registration or a website link. You need to get your certificate of completion, and particularly if it's an examinable course. And yes, there is a place on the website where you can upload the certificates to. Okay, any questions so far on the formal learning side of CPD for GSSA? So just to summarize that, if you go on a 4 days course, it is 8 CPD points, and it should generally be on the website. If not, you can add it yourself, and it includes all manner of formal learning events in South Africa and anywhere in the world, online and in contact. The second category is knowledge contribution. And what this means is that you can earn credits by time spent contributing to the general geoscience body of knowledge. This looks at the time that you spend preparing and presenting material which contributes to professional development. And it has a whole bunch of things here that you can do. If you're preparing for and presenting at either formal or informal events, if you're leading a field trip, if you're writing, publishing, reviewing, refereeing papers, mentoring, reviewing theses. And this doesn't include your day job activities. So if you're getting paid for it, to do it, then you can't claim it. So if you are in academia, you wouldn't be able to claim for lecturing time, but preparing and presenting at conferences, writing papers is fine. As a consultant, you would not include the time that you spend writing up CPRs, but doing any of these other things will get you credits. One of the great benefits of this knowledge contribution is that 1 hour that you spend would attract 3 CPD points, and there's no maximum for this category. So you can obtain all of your points through this knowledge contribution category, and you don't have to go anywhere else. You don't have to attend a course or do anything else. You can do it all through this category. So some of the examples of things that we do under this category. If you're doing a presentation. Now for guidance, we say that if you're doing a presentation, say 1 hour of a new lecture, you can claim 5 hours preparation and 1 hour presentation. So that's 6 hours multiplied by 3 gives you 18 CPD credits. If you repeat that lecture the following year, you're looking at probably 1 to 2 hours of preparation for a repeat lecture, plus the presentation. 3 times 3 is 9. So that's how you can claim credits doing presentations. Postgraduate study. If you're doing an honors, an MSc, or a PhD, in the year of graduation, you can claim the relevant number of hours multiplied by 3, which would then give you your total number of CPD credits. These are only applicable for people who have got these degrees post 2014, when the GSSA system began. Sorry, Freddie, you and I doesn't count for that. Okay, so if you write a paper, you can also claim for the paper that you write. So if you, for an example here, write say a 5,000 word paper, you can claim up to 30 CPD credits for that. That doesn't include the time you spend on research. That we'll claim somewhere else. So to go back to a question, I think Xavier asked it earlier, here you would claim for the paper, somewhere else you would claim for the time that you spent on the research. And if you presented this at a conference, you would be able to claim for there as well. And the same thing with publishing a book. You get a CPD or 60 CPD credits in the year it was published. And again, research time is claimed somewhere else. If you are part of a formal mentoring program, such as the GSSA SACNAS candidate mentoring program, WMSA, Bridge the Gap, the SAIMM program, or if you are part of a formal company or university program, you can claim 3 CPD credits per hour of formal mentoring. Now, the particular reason I mentioned the GSSA SACNAS candidate mentoring program is this is something we are working along with SACNAS to do, and we're looking for people who want to volunteer as mentors. And if you look at that, for a 40-hour a year formal program, you may claim 120 credits, which is 2 full years worth of credits. So it is easy to get these credits. So please, when you see the call go out for mentors, remembering 120 CPD credits. Any questions on the knowledge contribution? Okay. The third category is the self-directed study or informal learning. And as the name suggests, this is the stuff that you do by yourself in your own time or on an informal basis. Because it's not a structured or very intensive activity, there's a limit on the amount that you can claim for this. 1 CPD credit requires 4 hours of this activity. Or the other way around, 1 hour is a quarter of a credit. And annually, you're only allowed to claim a maximum of 20 CPD credits. And what this includes is attending these informal geoscience lectures, whether it be WMSA, Let's Geo Talks, the lunchtime lectures, branch lectures, the Alex de Toy Memorial, any geoscience session, informal. If you read articles from the journal, do personal research, even if you don't get to the lunchtime lectures, if you don't go to the YouTube channel and read and listen to them, you can claim CPD credits. Now, contrary to SACNAS, SACNAS said you had to send them a list of all the articles that you read and all the videos that you watched. We don't require that under the GSSA system. You tell us you spent 20 hours or 80 hours, however long it was, doing this sort of work, we believe you. The fourth category is the professional practice, and these are all the things that you do to improve yourself as a professional geoscientist. some of the activities that we look at here. Writing standard operating procedures or articles for non-technical journals, company newsletters. If you take part in internal workshops, other activities related to your social license to operate. If you attend a relevant local or international trade show, if you're on the organizing committee of a relevant conference, course, or workshop, if you are on one of the committees and contribute towards GSSA, the SIIMM, various of these other organizations. Also time that you spend informal mentoring and being mentored. And CPD is awarded on the basis of 8 hours of this activity being equivalent to 1 CPD credit to a maximum of 10 credits per year. And again, these activities are not auditable, and we don't expect you to give us a long list of what it is that you're actually doing. Also under this category, other things that you would do to develop skill sets that you would like to add to your CV. So various soft skills. If you're doing a course on various business aspects, communication, language skills, this is where you would add in your French language course that you went to Paris with, or a general software course. We also acknowledge that a great deal of professional development occurs on the job. But this doesn't mean the day-to-day job activities, but it covers the work, the things that you do beyond the routine, but which will still enhance your professional skill sets, such as first aid courses, fire rescue training, and so forth. There are also a number of non-technical generalized courses, not like the specialized function-related courses that we saw under formal learning. Things like an MBA, for example, would be added in here. Again, these activities are not auditable, but if you've got a certificate, please keep that. It's always very useful to have. So in summary, we look at the 4 different classifications as to where you can obtain CPD credits within the GSSA system. The formal learning, the knowledge contribution, the self-directed study and informal learning, and the professional practice. And here's a summary of the things that you can do under those categories to obtain CPD credits. So if we look at how many CPD points we get for what? Everybody can get the self-directed study and informal learning and professional practice maximum points. To obtain these points is not really difficult at all. And then some of the other things that we can do. Look at the formal learning. You get 8 CPD points for attending a formal day's course. Note with the GSSA, if you are a presenting author, you don't get charged for attending that course. And even now that we're on mostly online learning, it's much easier and cheaper to attend multiple courses in the year. And particularly if we do it over a half day every week, it's much easier to attend these courses. And if you prepare and present a paper here under knowledge contribution, if, for example, you look at a 20-minute slot, you can get upwards of 50 CPD credits for that. So if that is the maximum or the goal for the year, if you've got 20, 30, you've got a paper which is 50, and if you do some mentoring, you can get upwards of 120 CPD credits. It is relatively easy to get them, but yes, it does take effort, and it takes a little bit of planning as to what you want to do, and then actually kick your own butt to go and do it. Okay, so what about the geologist who is stuck out in the field or on a mine? Remember, you don't need to do any formal learning, which is not much of an issue now that you can do webinars. But here are some examples of something that somebody who is stuck in the field or on a mine can do in order to obtain all the CPD credits that they need for each year. So what happens if you are unemployed? Well, if you've been unemployed, you've been retrenched, or you've had hassle through to the lockdown, does not mean that you're exempt from CPD. We have planned the Gssa system so that people, particularly the more experienced geoscientists, can certainly give of their time and knowledge and still earn CPD without spending money or having to travel distances. For example, we've got the free online webinars. We have a number of free Category 1 courses during the year. They're the free lunchtime lectures. You can volunteer at a formal mentoring program. You can be a member of one of the committees or working groups related to the SAM codes. Assist with organizing or participating in GSSA activities. Look at perhaps assisting with the website, Facebook, GeoBulletin contributions. You can write a technical paper, or you can be on the review board for technical papers. And if you're an MSc or a PhD student, well, write up a paper based on your thesis, publish it in the SAJG, do a presentation at one of the lunchtime lectures, sign up as a mentor. Doing all of these things will get you all of the credits that you need every year. But yes, we do have certain exemptions. If you spend your days fishing and are fully retired, you get a full exemption. There are partial exemptions for members on special leave, or if you retired not doing work of a geoscience nature. And of course, there are always special circumstances which we look at on a case-by-case basis. And all of this is benchmarked against international geoscience organizations elsewhere. So whose responsibility is what? Well, the GSSA, we provide CPD training opportunities. We provide you with an online CPD portal, and we send annual reminders to the whole membership. SACNASP will also provide certain training opportunities, even though it might not be as focused as the GSSA. They provide a portal to do it online. They'll send you reminders, and they also have the right to audit compliance. So if you're doing it through the GSSA, SACNASP does have the right to check it if they so wish. But most of the responsibility is yours. You need to log your credits on the system of your choice. So whether you do it through the GSSA or through SACNASP, it is your responsibility. Nobody else is going to record it or confirm your credits that you've done this or you haven't done that. It is also your responsibility to download your certificate from the GSSA and upload it to SACNASP during April, if you are doing it through the GSSA system. So this is now if you're going to do your CPD through the GSSA. You'd log on to the website, go to Members Access, and please firstly update your personal information. One of the important things that we do need is both your GSSA and SACNASP numbers. And also identify whether you're doing it through the GSSA or the SACNASP system. Then you go to the CPD points tab and you input your activities, and then annually download the CPD log report and upload that to SACNASP. And this is all you need for SACNASP to know that you are compliant with the GSSA. It has both your GSSA and SACNASP numbers on it, so they're able to track and give you a tick that you are compliant. But this you physically have to do. So once you've got all of your CPD points logged, at the end of each year, download the report and upload it to SACNASP. And I'll show you how to do that in a moment. So again, as per usual, you log on to SACNASP. And then you go to your CPD portfolio. And here you can see your compliance status. Click on here to confirm your field of practice. And then here, select the GSSA as the approved CPD system. So here's where you're telling SACNASP that you are doing your CPD through the GSSA. You can do this if you wish, but it's not necessary. Then you select the year that you're going to work on. And then you add your CPD accreditation from the VA, so that the document that you downloaded from the GSSA site, you will update it or upload it here. And once you've uploaded it here, it will automatically recognize the fact that you are compliant with the SACNASP system. So you don't need to go and add anything in under your portfolio. You just need to upload the certificate from the GSSA, and SACNASP automatically recognizes that you are compliant. If you are a GSSA member who is doing your CPD on SACNASP, all you need to do is just download the CPD certificate from SACNASP. Then you can either attach it to your CV if needed, or leave it there so that when requested, you can send it to the GSSA. So in brief summary, remember you can choose to record your CPD credits, either on the GSSA or on SACNASP, and you'll be mutually recognized by the other organizations. They are very different in the way that they allocate credits. The GSSA system is geoscience specific. It is benchmarked against other international geoscience organizations and may be easier in some aspects for geoscientists to work through. But wherever you do it, it's not possible to simply transpose credits from one system to another. Then if you log them in the GSSA system, you're not automatically going to see them in the SACNASP system. You have to download your certificate from the GSSA, upload it to SACNASP, and they will then tick you as being compliant. Remember, it's a self-directed process. It is your responsibility to do it. The company that you work for, the professional or statutory body, is not responsible for doing your CPD. They're not responsible for providing or paying for CPD activities. We're not responsible for logging, keeping track of, or submitting your CPDs. Those are your individual personal responsibility. Employers can play a role. They don't have to, but they can. And it's not always financial. The days when employers would pay for people to go on conferences every second month, these are long gone. But what some employers do is that they will encourage you to attend or present at external conferences. They might even provide internal activities, support for publishing papers, for postgrad studies, and so forth. It's also interesting that there is a mining charter obligation to invest in human resource development. So when you plan your CPD program, speak with your company, with HR. They might be able to assist in many varied ways. And to this effect, let me go back one. The SACNASP has compiled a letter to all employees explaining the benefits of CPD and requesting their cooperation in allowing you to do CPD activities. This letter is it's in the pack that you received. So yes, CPD is an effort, like running up an escalator going down. But remember that your goal is personal development as a geoscientist. It's not simply to collect CPD credits. You are the one who's going to benefit from this in the end. Okay, any questions from anybody on any topic so far? Freedom.
Well, that I'm talking GSSA now. The difference between formal category 1 and 3, I think it was informal personal development. Where do I draw the line if I attend, or is it simple? If you're our age, we don't need any formal category 1 anymore.
For GSSA, you don't need formal category 1 no matter what age you are. We don't require that you do any formal courses.
Okay. So if I do, I've done, which was very interesting, the 6 UNESCO lectures or presentation. Where would they fall under? Under 3 then, informal. These are 1-hour lectures on circular economy and environmental issues and mining, and keep this all bring this all under one head. Where would they be recorded or reported? Under
Those
3.
would be informal.
Informal. Okay.
Yes.
Good. And I was talking earlier to you about, so I am registered with GSSA, but with all my efforts, I ended up with 28.5 points for last year. That included 2 workshops and many. So that is not even half of the required 40, well, just over half. So I find it very difficult, unless now I put in every hour I might have read geological articles and so on.
Well, you'd certainly be able to claim the informal and the professional work, because I know that you would have read so many articles and done a whole bunch of research for all sorts of things. So those things you claim standard because you would have done them.
Yeah. Okay.
And the other easy way to get all these points is to register as a mentor, which is 40 hours per year, and you get 120 CPD points per year.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done this within our company, but with COVID now, I haven't been to the office, I think, for almost a year. It's just almost.
But on online mentoring?
Yeah, one could. I had one case in Botswana, and it didn't work out well. I mean, those days it was whatever. We went over phone even. Anyway, it's just.
We have another round of formal mentoring with SACNASP candidates starting June of this year, and that is 40 hours a year. And we do all the organizing and the hard work on it, and you just interact with your
volunteer
or mentee for 40 hours in the year. No, not even 40 hours, because the whole mentorship program is worth 40 hours, but at least 2/3 of that is taken up with courses. So it works out to about 15-20 hours contact with your mentee per year.
All right. Okay. I mean, I've done many hours of informal, as you can imagine, mentoring with my colleagues and subordinates. But you know, COVID has changed a lot, I must say, and
it has. But I know most people have done lots of these things. What you need to do is to claim it and log it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I will sit down. I was just shocked to see with all my 2 courses, half a dozen or more, lunchtime and other webinars, it only got me to 28.5 points for 1 year. Not to mention, I need this for all the preceding years. So it is. Even though you said it's not a race for points, it is personal development. I don't see myself retired as such that I just lie back and go fishing. But it is quite a task. I mean, maybe I haven't fully understood how you can gain and accumulate points. And I will go. Is that course or that presentation I can go through in my time again? Is that available on your site? The whole
well, in two different ways. You have the PDF of the presentation in your pack.
Okay, my bag, yeah.
Yes.
Right.
And
Good.
the recording of it will be made available to all delegates.
Good. Yeah,
And
and I just registered it. It wasn't CPD Workshop 2021, was not on your default list, drop-down list, but I added it anyway.
That's because I haven't added it yet, because I only add them after the call.
I've added it now, and it says, yeah, I think all these things get reviewed before they get finally credited. But anyway, I enjoy this. I'm a lot more aware of how to gain additional points, because to be honest, I've seen most of these workshops and drilling and SAMRAC and you name it. I wouldn't want to go there just for the sake of it. And I'm glad to see there are alternative ways. And maybe I should get involved in mentoring if that counts for a lot.
And you'll also find that this year the GSSA has got a lot of new courses on offer, because all of the previous courses are all available through the YouTube channel, either as category 1 or as category 3. And so we're finding that we don't have to repeat many of them going forward. We're looking for new ideas, for new presentations, new courses each year going forward. So guys, if you've got any ideas of courses that you would like to see the GSSA put on, please let us know. Nadine is always looking for new ideas.
Yeah, I agree. Some like the diamond thing in Kimberley and get a bit stale and cumbersome at times. But
yeah, give us ideas. Quibus, you have a question?
Yes, thank you. Just like to know if you do mentoring, but you're not registered as a mentor as such, but in your company or in your working environment, you do mentoring to younger geologists. Can you claim for anything like that, or should that be official before you can claim?
We do two kinds of mentoring. If you do a formal mentoring program, whether it be through the GSSA or a formal company mentoring, then you claim that under category the knowledge contribution. Whereas if it is informal mentoring, that you claim under professional practice.
Okay, thank you.
I
Hi.
saw your message, Xavier. Thanks for attending. We all have issues with power. But you've all got my contact details, so if you have any queries, please contact me directly. Gail, you had a question?
Yes. As far as this mentoring goes, I mean, obviously I'm located in Zimbabwe. Am I able to join the mentoring program? Because I mean, I do this naturally anyway, sort of thing, but if I join a more formal thing, it might be a bit better.
Yes, certainly with the lockdown last year, we did the entire program online, and it doesn't matter where you are. We had a mentor sitting in the UK for the whole of last year, and another one who was wandering around the wilds of Botswana. We don't mind where you are, as long as you're able to make contact with your mentee periodically.
Okay,
fact,
no, that's fine.
The
So
mentees themselves are all over the country.
do I put my name down through Geology South Africa or SACNASP?
Send it directly to me. It'll be
Okay,
the
okay, that's fine. I'll do that now, otherwise I'll forget. Okay, cool. Thanks.